Thank you very much for clicking on this video. My name is Anthony, and from Crypto Simple, let's discuss why I think Cardano is poised for a huge breakout in 2020. Um, so let's deep dive into it right now. So if you weren't here in investing in Cardano, well, I mean, full disclosure, I've been a cryptocurrency investor for the past 3 years. I definitely have a fair amount of Cardano as well, so I mean, my opinion may be biased, but I like to just show, I would rather just show you the reasons why I think Cardano is a very, very good alternative in terms of an investment because of, just from my perspective, right? Not for you at all. So the way that I look at this is I like to look at the market caps from previous all-time highs. And in this case, I mean, Cardano used to be a $25 billion market cap at its peak, way back. Um, that is something that is very, very interesting to me. They were increasing massively, especially in 2017, because of the huge bull run as itself. And as you can see, it's consolidated down into the disbelief phase, which is pretty much the valuation of this cryptocurrency has just dramatically decreased for the past couple of years now. And I've been purchasing Cardano for so long throughout this bear market. Obviously, we've seen some highs, peaks, and valleys throughout this bear market, but for obviously it looks like we're starting to becoming or uptrending into a bull market here. So for myself, it's just part of the progression, especially for market cycles. So let's talk about the reasons why I think Cardano is very interesting. The one key point that I wanted to point out is look at the market cap of this cryptocurrency. Like I was mentioning, it went from 25 billion all the way to the very low. I mean, I can see 870 million, and I was definitely stocking up so much Cardano at this point. So the reasons why I think, well, first and foremost, that I think Cardano is very, very an interesting project to just research about is obviously take a look at their GitHub. If you don't know, why would you even look at their GitHub is because of their development. Cryptocurrencies involve a lot of code, involve a lot of back-end developers, front-end developers. There's a lot of code that needs to be written, and cryptocurrencies that don't have a lot of commits is a red flag off the bat. That's just an investment thesis that I've always taken with this market. Obviously, uh, there's a lot of it is a speculative market. There's no doubt about that. But for myself, there's use cases that can be done. As we can see, I've seen it myself through Ethereum. It's very interesting how that cryptocurrency, especially Vitalik Buterin, is starting to, you know, take its own and mold its own itself as its own separate cryptocurrencies as opposed to Bitcoin, because a lot of investors, they only think about Bitcoin currently right now, and I think that's a really important aspect to understand. Obviously, they know what Ethereum is, maybe Ripple, but when you start to go down into the coin market cap and try to understand all the other cryptocurrencies, like number 11th, which is Cardano, they may not understand the whole preface and understand the whole aspect of what Cardano is. So for those who don't know, Cardano's roadmap, um, they are there's three key kind of organizations or entities that are in charge of the development of Cardano. Now, in terms of the development in their back end, like I was mentioning, the GitHub, that's IOHK. IOHK is Input Output Hong Kong. The CEO is Charles Hoskinson. I'll link a video of his channel underneath in the description, so you can understand his point of view of Cardano. He is, in my opinion, one of the geniuses in the space. And so let's talk about what is the roadmap. I don't want to go in depth with it. I just wanted to show you the reasons why I'm very bullish on it right now. Obviously, we just passed through the Byron phase. Now, the Byron phase is just the introduction of Cardano. Just showing their white paper. They did a lot of research into this. They have multiple academic research papers that, in my opinion, are very, very. That was the reason why I was so fascinated by Cardano, because the way they um, created this blockchain was through academic research. PhDs, individuals have been educated in terms of coding, Every aspect of this has been well thought out. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies out there that are just plain ideas that have been thought out for a couple of months, and they have huge valuations with no reason for that to occur. The reason why I like Cardano is because my investment thesis is not to just get rich quick, it's to specifically hold cryptocurrencies throughout a specific tenure of time. For myself, I'm completely happy of holding my Cardano. I've been holding it for 3 years now, and I have no problem of holding it for another 3 years or 5 years or even 10 years, because I understand what this cryptocurrency, what this team is, what the multiple amount of teams are focusing on. They're focusing on a blockchain that can progress as the blockchain kind of community progresses as well. This is not something that'll be here. They're trying to be here for a whole, for a century, right? So if you think of it that way, a lot of people are turned off by the idea of Cardano because of their slow development. As you can see, it's 2017, and just so you know, they haven't even released Shelly yet. Is that a knock on them? My personal opinion, no, because they want to make sure that everything's done correctly. Bottom line. So currently right now where we are, we're in the testnet stage of Shelly. Now if you don't know what Shelly is, though, from my understanding of Shelly, as I've been doing a lot of research and reading about Cardano, is they're actually going to release the mainnet very shortly in the next couple of months. That, in my opinion, that's this process of decentralization. Bitcoin is a proof of work algorithm, which means that there are miners who validate the transactions, and with these miners, they actually have to have ASIS miners, or they actually have a whole mining rig. I'm sure you've seen it before. Proof of stake is a complete opposite of that. Well, let me just preface, it's not the complete opposite. It's there's similarities, but the difference is individuals or stake pool operators can actually create their own stake pool, where you and I can actually stake on their stake pool and get a return. Or in other words, the way I like to look at it, it's a form of a dividend. Obviously it's not a dividend where, you know, it's not a stock, but it's an ROI through the staking pool, and that's number one reason. Okay, so let's talk about that right there. The number one reason is stake pools. The reason why I really like Cardano is because of Ouroboros, which is the stake pool algorithm of Cardano, which means every time you can actually hold Cardano, you could actually delegate it to a stake pool, and you'll be getting an ROI on a monthly basis. Is it a lot? From my understanding, it's from 4 to 10%. That doesn't mean anything to me, because that just goes to show that this is not a speculative asset anymore. There is a use case for the coin itself, which is number one. Obviously, I can talk about more in detail, but this is all theory currently. Obviously, this has to be um, put into place, put into work as well, and this needs to get going. And I believe Shelly is definitely something that is definitely something that's going to be very, very interesting and innovative in the blockchain industry. So coming at the end of the Shelly area, we expect Cardano to be 500 to 50 to 100 times decentralized than any other large blockchain networks. And the reason why is because if you're a stake pool operator, you're validating transactions for Cardano, and there's an incentive to do so. Obviously, there's a fee, right? Sometimes it could be 0 point, I believe it can be from 0%, which is very rare, to about to 5%. And that's just the cost of just processing. It's just the cost of a stake pool operator. They have to have some form of incentive. But for us as the holders, anyone can be a stake pool operator, by the way. But for us as holders, it just gives us the incentive. Instead of just putting in our Ledger Nano S or Trezor or whatever wallet you use, Roy, which is Cardano. Cardano has two wallets, Daedalus and Yoroi. So back to my point, where instead of just just holding it in your wallet, you could actually use it and actually stake it. So you're creating an ROI by just a simple click of a button on your computer. That's incentivized a lot of stakeholders, which goes to my next point, which is institutional investors are starting. Charles Hoskinson said this himself, where institutional investors are starting to look at proof of stake cryptocurrencies and they want to bundle them up in a specific product because of the potential of their ROI. It's very simple to understand. A lot of institutional investors like high dividend growth. They like high dividends, which means, as you know, if a stock is doing very, very well within a quarter or a year, whatever it may be, they issue dividends to their shareholders, which is a form of profit. They've been very profitable during that time. That incentivizes two aspects. One, capital growth. If your stock or cryptocurrency increases, that's one incentive. And obviously the second incentive is proof of stake, or your staking rewards, or the dividend in this case for the stock market. That is what they're going to be focusing on, and that's why I'm amassing so much Cardano, in my opinion, because I know this is going to happen. Mind you, this is all speculation. I can be completely wrong. Right? So I mean, take my word with a grain of salt and do your own research. Read the white paper. It's very important to understand what Cardano is all about. Excuse me. And the last point that I want to talk about was Goguen, which is the introduction of smart contracts. So once Shelley has been released, they're going to take their talents and start to migrate or integrate smart contracts into Cardano, which is a big step forward. As you know, Ethereum is a huge they're the creator of the smart contract. Vitalik Buterin innovated the space. Obviously Charles Hoskinson, there was Gavin Wood, there's so many individuals who are part of Ethereum in 2016, but they have already taken that market share. But obviously, in my opinion, as more and more companies start to or just regular individuals start to use smart contracts, there's specific companies or in this case entities or cryptocurrencies that you can use, and I think Cardano will be part of that. So remember, I was mentioning that to process transactions you need stake pool operators. This is an interesting aspect, which is through smart contracts. So the smart contracts need to be validated in the Cardano blockchain by stake pool operators, right? So there's an incentive. It's a really good system, and that's why I think it's very interesting. So just a quick synopsis: it's smart contracts onto Cardano, so now they could actually become a form of Ethereum. Well, not a form of Ethereum, but definitely a player who's going to compete with Ethereum in the smart contract marketplace. And then they can also build decentralized applications. As you know, if you don't know, Ethereum 2.0 is coming out very shortly, which is DeFi, the process of decentralized finance. You know, MakerDAO, which is this MakerDAO, sorry, which is the same concept of stake pools, right? Getting an ROI by just holding or just holding your cryptocurrencies. That is giving incentive to hold these assets. So those are kind of the reasons why I really like Cardano. Obviously, currently right now it's at 6 cents. Market cap is 1.586 billion. In my opinion, a lot of cryptocurrency investors may think this is a huge amount, but in my opinion, where I think Cardano is going to be going, this is a small entry point, in my opinion. So if you're watching this video, definitely consider looking and researching it. This is not some form of financial advice that I'm going to tell you to just invest it all, because I could be completely wrong, right? So, but in my opinion, risk management is very important. I've allocated a dollar cost average into my positions, and I'm very confident that even if it were to go flat, belly up, or just fall flat right in their face, so to speak, I'm comfortable with that. But I'm also comfortable in the perspective of, can it potentially get back to its all-time high, right? This is all speculation. At this point, through January of 2018, it got up to 25 billion, right? So in my opinion, if it were to ever go and retrace back to its all-time high, you're looking at a 20x or whatever value that is, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but hey, it's a possibility, and I hope for it. So if you really enjoyed this video, I mean, consider liking, subscribing. Definitely comment down below if you enjoyed the video. I'm definitely gonna be posting more Cardano videos and just cryptocurrency videos when I see fit. Um, so definitely consider subscribing. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.